To the people who work for Elon Musk, it doesn't feel like a management style. It feels like weather. A sudden, violent storm that darkens the room the moment he walks in. His biographers call it demon mode, and they don't mean that metaphorically. They describe a literal dissociative switch, a state where he manually overrides human empathy to execute the impossible. When the switch is flipped, we get electric cars and reusable rockets. But we also get the carnage of the Twitter takeover and employees sleeping on factory floors. This isn't a biography. This is a diagnosis of that switch. And it forces us to ask a much more uncomfortable question. Is this a disorder unique to one damaged billionaire? Or is demon mode the secret engine of history that the rest of us are simply too scared to turn on?
To understand Elon and the demon, you have to look at his early life. 1980s South Africa was a pressure cooker. Violence was the baseline. And a 12-year-old Elon Musk was dropped right into the middle of it. Specifically, into Veld School. This wasn't a summer camp. It was Lord of the Flies with counselors. Bullying wasn't just allowed, it was the curriculum. Boys were starved until they fought each other for rations. If you didn't fight, you didn't eat. Kids were beaten unconscious while the adults sat back and watched. That environment wires a brain differently. It teaches you that empathy is a weakness. It teaches you that mercy gets you starved. But the wilderness was actually the easy part. Home was the real war zone. His father, Errol, was a brilliant engineer, but he was also a man who knew exactly how to break a child. Elon talks about the standing lectures, hours of his father just verbally dissecting him, tearing him down until there was nothing left. So Elon grew up in a permanent state of siege. His nervous system never learned safe. It learned survive. And the only way to survive a siege is to be the one holding the weapon. He eventually got out of South Africa, but he never left the war. He just found bigger battlefields. When Musk arrived in Silicon Valley, he immediately went on the offensive. In 2002, he launched SpaceX with a philosophy that terrified traditional engineers. He calls it the algorithm. It sounds sophisticated, but it's actually just a list of 5 brutal commands. Step 1. Question every requirement. Step 2. Delete the part or process. Step 3. Simplify or optimize. Step 4. Accelerate cycle time. Step 5. Automate. And this is the key. He doesn't say evaluate the part. He says delete it. If you aren't forced to add back at least 10% of what you deleted, you didn't delete enough. It is a philosophy of reckless subtraction. And during the Model 3 production hell in 2018, he applied that algorithm to human beings. Tesla was weeks away from bankruptcy, so Musk initiated a surge, a manufactured state of total war. He stopped going home. He slept on a conference room floor at the Fremont factory. Not because he had to. He has a private jet. He did it to send a signal. If the commander is sleeping in the dirt, the soldiers don't get to go home. And this is where the rage firings began. Engineers would walk down the hallway, make eye contact with him, and be fired. If someone said a safety sensor was necessary, Musk would ask, why? If they hesitated, they were gone. He treated the factory like a broken code base. Delete the people that added the friction and the noise. And it worked. Tesla survived. The Model 3 became the best-selling luxury car in America. The demon saved the company. But by 2022, the war was effectively over. Tesla was stable. SpaceX was launching rockets routinely. Most people would have taken a vacation. But Musk gets twitchy when things are quiet. If there isn't a crisis, he starts to climb the walls. So he went out and bought himself a new problem. A $44 billion problem called Twitter. When he walked into the office, the culture shock was immediate. He's used to guys sleeping under desks at SpaceX. At Twitter, he found a staff that seemed more focused on the cafeteria menu than the code base. It was slow, it was polite, it was everything he hates. He didn't try to fix the culture, he tried to delete it. He sent that infamous midnight email with the subject line, hardcore. It was a simple ultimatum. Click yes to work long hours at high intensity,
or get out. Thousands took the severance, but Musk didn't care. He wanted to see who was crazy enough to stay. The craziest story from this time proves it. He wanted to move servers from Sacramento to Oregon to save cash. His team told him it was impossible. They said it would take months, permits, and union movers. Musk didn't accept impossible. He flew to Sacramento on Christmas Eve. He broke into the server room with a pocket knife, ripped up the floor tiles, and started hauling server racks into a moving truck himself.
So here is the brutal reality. We want our geniuses to be nice. We want electric cars and the rockets to Mars. But we also want the guy building them to be a stable, well-adjusted human being. Walter Isaacson spent 2 years watching Demon Mode up close, and he eventually asked the only question that matters. Could you have gotten the rockets to orbit without the demon? The answer is no. Normal people don't sleep on factory floors. Normal people don't bet their entire fortune on a rocket that keeps blowing up. It doesn't take a broken person to do that. Musk isn't driven by trauma. He is driven by the genuine belief that if he stops, the future stops. To him, empathy for one employee is a distraction from the survival of the species. That may seem like madness to us, but to Elon, it is just part of his mindset. Elon Musk isn't a role model in the conventional sense. He is a heavy lifter. He is the person that can get things done in the most extreme situations. He proves that you can achieve the impossible, but you have to be willing to be the bad guy to get it done.